Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like this video and share it with others who might find it helpful. Today I am excited to share a new project challenge that I tried recently. I think the final results came out really cool than what I was actually expecting. Before we dive in, let me actually tell you something important, especially if you are starting to learn programming or web development. You've probably heard this advice before, maybe over and over and over again, but it is worth repeating. Alright, so the best way to learn is by building projects. When I say build projects, I don't just mean following every single step of a YouTube tutorial and copying the code, right? Tutorials are great. You would be able to learn something from it. You would be able to build projects, but then the most important thing is understanding what you are building, being able to build something yourself, right? So when you are following a tutorial, maybe try and then learn the best practices, how to maybe structure project files, understand logic behind certain concepts. Those are valuable concepts that you have to learn, right? Because if you try and then copy and paste the code without understanding it, then you're giving yourself a limit and it's not going to help you. It's not going to really help you that much. All right, so the real goal is to build your own project. Try and then get concepts, understand how to build complex projects, and then try and come up with an idea and build something yourself. Of course, you're going to still need help along the way. You're still going to have to maybe watch YouTube videos for maybe specific concepts. We all do, right? Even experienced developers do look up specific solutions online. And in fact, I think one thing that sets senior engineers apart is their ability to search for solutions efficiently. I've worked with senior developers in my early stages of my software engineering career as a junior developer, and one thing I realized is that a senior developer's ability to be able to search for a solution to a complex problem is what sets them apart from juniors, right? It's totally fine watching tutorials, totally fine getting stuck and needing help. That is okay. Abandoning a project because it feels overwhelming, or maybe you are stuck and can't really continue, that's fine. We've all been there before. We've done that a lot. It's part of the journey. In the end, the goal is to become an independent developer, as I said, someone who can take on an idea and turn it into reality. That is what you want to aim at, right? That's enough about all the advice and all that. Let's actually get to the reason why we are here. So, as I mentioned earlier, I tried this project and the results came out to be cool. I think I liked the results actually, and that's why I want to share with you. Here is the project. The project is a phone case editor, right? So when I say a phone case editor, it's more like, should I say a studio or an editor? Whatever. So it's an editor which is used to create customized phone cases, right? So you can design a phone case to look like how you actually want, and then later maybe decide to download it and print it, or whatever you want, right? You might think, this is a simple project. There are a lot of platforms you can use to do this and all that, right? The reason why I'm excited to share this project with you is the journey I went through to be able to do this within 4 days. Initially it was supposed to be 3 days, but I think I did a lot and it was more fun and more interesting that I decided to add one more day and see how far I can get with it, right? And I think it came out really cool. Alright, so I feel like the MVP version is even good enough. For example, the phone case example you see here, these are phone cases I used this platform to design, which I'm going to show you. But then these are not just images. The phone cases here are not just images. They are actually elements that I styled them with CSS, and it's one of the reasons why I'm excited to show you. I just styled it to make them look like an actual phone case so that you can customize every bit of it, including the camera section. Yeah, of course you can also download the phone case as an image once you finish designing, and that's what you see here, right? You see them as image, but then they are not actually images inside the editor. Why did I choose this project? I run a print business where we create custom t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, phone cases, you can name the rest, right? So anything printable, we do it. And if you want to check our online store, when you go to fmtdesignprint.com, you would find us. You'd see our online store. My vision is to integrate an editor into the platform where customers can customize their items before making an order, or if they want to download it and then send it as a custom order, whatever. All right. I did search for a lot of platforms to help me do this. I found a few ones. Some were good. Most of the ones I found which were good were not really free. All right. So I had to build something myself, basically. That's why I decided that I am going to build something like this. So I felt like this one is just a first step towards that goal. I've learned so much that I have a lot of ideas on how I can even improve this even further. I mean, if I want to integrate it into my print platform. I am going to show you a demo of the project. I'm going to go through the code with you. I am going to tell you all the tools I used and how I was able to build the project from scratch. I'm going to show you how I organized my code, and I'll also give you some few tricks on what I did to save time while I am also keeping the design clean. I am also going to give you the full source code for free. In fact, you can actually check the description and find the source code link in the description right now. If you want to say thank you, just subscribe, like, and then share this video. That's all I need. Alright, so let's actually dive in and check what we have. And one quick tip before we actually start: whenever you want to build a project, make sure you plan. Make sure you find inspiration from other platforms. It makes a huge difference, right? I got a lot of inspiration from other platforms that have similar kind of feature in their platform, and it gave me a lot of ideas on how I should create mine. One platform that I actually had lots of inspiration from is Printful. All right, so you can see they have a similar kind of feature in on their website. You can design a phone case here. When you go here, you can actually select a phone case and get started. I actually downloaded their images and then changed the colors for mine, which you see here. You can see it's the same thing. It's just the description that changes, but then this is actually the same. All right, and I think one more image that I stole from Printful is this small image here, which I actually used here. All right, I made it big. All right, so I think that's basically all what I stole from them, but then they gave me a lot of inspiration on the editor itself and all that, right? So you can see how their editor looks like. Yeah, I mean, it's quite cool, right? Nice. This is the landing page. This is actually where everything starts, right? I think it's actually cool. So we have the landing page, and I'm also using frame of motion. So I mean, there are some cool animations, fancy animations going on here and there as well. Like if I refresh again, you can see some cool animations as well. And these items here as well have some animations, like you can see when I hover to. Yeah, so I mean, just a few animations to make the page look colorful and nice, right? All right, now we support light and dark theme as well. So you can see that on light themes, they still look really cool. All right, so you can switch to light theme, you can switch to dark theme. So you can see we have the hero section, we have how to create your own phone case, select a phone case, add your design, download and share. All right, and here we have a few examples that you can choose. You can see these are different phone cases. All right, and as I said, these are all cases that are designed with this platform. You can click on start designing. You can choose one of these phone cases to get started. So let's actually choose iPhone 16, and here we are. So we are on the editor now, and I'm going to show you all the features here. So first of all, we have the heading. We have a place where you can download the design after you are done. I can even click on it to download this right now. All right, and we have the light and dark themes, which are also here. You can see when I switch to dark theme, I mean, it still looks really cool, right? I actually like the dark theme, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using light theme a lot, right? So pardon me. All right, so now we have a couple of sections here. All right, so we have this right section. We have the main canvas section. Is it a canvas now? It's not a canvas actually, but we have the main working area section here where we have the phone case, you can see, and then we also have some controls here. You can see they are image controls, right? So they are all disabled right now because we don't have any image uploaded or any image added to the phone. Now we can start from here. All right, so here we have something like tabs up here. So this is product, this is uploads, this is text, this is clip art, and then this is fill for colors. So under product, this is where you choose the product. At the moment I have this iPhone and Samsung. So I have a lot of models for iPhone here. I think I have just one model for Samsung, and you can see when I select Samsung, it changes to the Samsung phone case where the camera with the model selected here. That is Samsung S23. That is how it looks like. All right, and then if I go back to iPhone, it's from iPhone 16 Pro Max all the way to iPhone 13. You can add more products or more iPhone models if you want. I'm going to show you how. If you go to Apple website, all the iPhone products they have on their websites, they have some colors that come with it. All right, and I got these colors from there. Actually, let me show you. This is what I'm talking about, right? So you can see here where you compare the iPhone models, right? So whenever you choose an iPhone model here, you see that it comes with some colors. Those are the same colors I actually used there. Right, so here, if I choose a different model, let's say maybe iPhone 15 Pro, you see that the colors are different, right? If I choose this one, they are different ones. Let me choose a different one. Let's say 13. Yeah, you have different ones. Yeah, yeah, some cool colors. Nice. So this is where you choose the product, and then you choose maybe a default color. The next tab is where you actually upload images, and here you can upload an image from your computer or by clicking here or by dragging and dropping. All right. I also integrated like remote images. So this is from Pixabay. All right, so we have photos, we have vectors, and then we have illustrations as well. So these are pulled from Pixabay directly here, so you can actually search for any image you want at all, and you'd be able to get it here. All right, so same for vectors, and then same for illustrations as well. All right, so maybe I can search for something like nature. All right, and then maybe when I stop typing, it's gonna load like nature images for me. So let's actually start by picking one of these images, right? So I'm going to click on one of these images. So when I click on this image, you see that the image appears here, right? So here you can see there are some controls here that you can use to resize the image. The faded part here is not going to be visible once you save the changes. All right, so you just have to place the image the way you want on the phone case. All right, so all right, let me just keep it like this. All right, and then after that, here I'm going to click on keep changes. When I click on keep changes, you'd see that the parts that were outside the phone case are now cropped out. Now if you want to resize it again, let's say that you want to resize it again. All right, so you just have to click on resize image again, and you'd see that you have the original image show again, and then you can again resize it the way you want. All right, and then after that you can click on keep changes. There are some image effects that you can also apply here. I think you see like the opacity of the image, you can reduce it or increase it if you want. So like the brightness of the image, the contrast, you can change the saturation as well, the blur effect, the hue. So these are some effects that you can apply to the image if you want. But if you want to reset everything, you can just click on this button and it is going to reset everything to original. Now if I click on resize image again, you can see that these transform controls are also enabled. I can scale the image using this control here. I can also even rotate the image. You can see I can even rotate it like this if I want. I'm going to reset this. I can also flip it. Like this is vertical flipping, right, and this is horizontal flipping, right? So I can leave it like this here just to get the face of the pet to show. Let me resize it a bit, and then I can also drag and place it properly. Then after, I'm going to click on keep changes. So you have the option to customize this one to make it look like how you want on the phone case, basically. All right. So once you are done with your customization, you can click download. But as I said, you can also upload an image from your computer, right? So let me just reset everything. Clear the image by clicking on this delete icon here. I'm going to try and click on this to load an image from my computer. So I'll just upload maybe an image of myself like this. I can resize it the way I want. And then I can click on keep changes. I want it this way. Now, so you can also upload an image from your computer. It works the same way. You can choose vectors or illustrations, as I said. Now you can also add a text on the phone screen. Right. So for example, I can click on add text here, and you'd see that it adds a text here. Because my image is more like darker, I can change the color to something like so maybe I can click on any of the predefined colors here, or I can choose a custom color, maybe white. From here, let me choose this one, and here it says double tap or click to edit. So if you are on phone, you're going to tap. If you are using a PC like I am right now, then you're going to be clicking. So that's why it says double tap or click. I'm going to show you the phone version as well. It's very cool. So this entire thing is very responsive. If you're looking at it on mobile, it is going to look a bit different. You can change the fonts, and when I click on the font, you can see that this is loading all my system fonts, right? I also added a feature to load the system font, that is a font on your PC, into the application, right? So when you click on it, it's going to load the fonts on your system here, so you can have the fonts that you have on your PC here, and you'd be able to select from here. So for some reason, if it can't actually load the font from your PC, there is a backup font, default fonts that you can basically use, just a few fonts. All right, but I'm also going to show you a cool feature that I added to add Google font to it, just by clicking or getting the link of a Google font and then adding it. Right. First of all, let's go through some of these before. Now you can change the font size. I'm going to double click to edit this, and I can just say maybe Mr. Shad, and then I can place it anywhere I want. You also have the action to delete what you've added here by clicking on this if I want. So if I add a new one here like this, I can basically click on this one to delete it again. All right, so let me keep this one. Now I can change it. I can make it italics if I want. I can also change it to uppercase or lowercase using this one. I can do the alignment. For example, if I expand this one, I can make it aligned to, so it disappears because like when the text is not selected, you don't see the options to format the text. All right, so here I click on it, I can do align right, align left, align center, right? So that's all working fine as well. And as I said, you can also remove the text either from here or from that button that you have beside the text. So let me make it small. Yep. So you can add a text. Now, as I said, you can also add a Google font, right? So if you click on add Google font here, so you can see that you can paste a link, right? So you can even paste a link including the tag, that is a link tag, or you can even paste a link using the @import statement, and it is all going to work fine. So let me show you. Let's go to Google font here, and let's search for a font. Let me actually filter and then look for a cute font, something around here. Okay, so let's say Pacifico, right? So you click on the font you want. So you can basically search for any font you want at all, and then you can go to get font. Right here, you can go to embed code. Right, so here you can see that we have the @link version, and then when you go to import to, you have the @import, right? So you can grab one of these. So I can just copy the last one here, which is containing the actual font family. I can copy it and then I can come and then paste it here. Alright, so here I can click on add font and you can see font added successfully. Alright, so if it wasn't working, the pop-up is going to say failed or something. And so when I go here, when I go to my fonts, I should be able to see Google Fonts. All right, so we have the system fonts, and now you can see the Google font here, which is Pacifico. When I click on it, as you can see, let me change the color to white so that you can see it well. It is a cool feature. So in case you don't have your system font loading, you can add a lot of Google fonts here, and you can basically use them. All right, let's go to the clip art as well. So here you can add clip art also to, let's delete this text. You can also add clip art to the phone case. All right, so if I click on one of these clip arts, as you can see, I can add them. So these are basically SVG clip arts or SVG images, I would say. All right, so here you can see that I can resize it to make it even much larger, and you still see the quality because it is an SVG basically. So let's resize this, make it smaller. All right, cool. And then you can put it anywhere you want, or you can add as much as you want. You can even add more. All right, it does not really matter. Now you'd also see that when I add them here, you'd also get all the clip arts added here. All right, so maybe if you lose the clip art somewhere, if you lose the clip art to like the section that you don't actually see on the phone case, there is no way you can probably click on it to delete again at the moment. So once you see them here, you don't see the clip art here, so you can click on this or click on this to delete, and then maybe add it back again so that you can position it well. When you click on this one, it also selects the clip art that you click on it, so you can delete them from here or you can delete them from here, but this one gives you a preview of all the clip arts you've actually added. Now you can also go here where you have the fill. Alright, and here you can also select a color. So you can see that this fill is not for the color of the phone. And so as I said, because these are just elements that we are styling with CSS or Tailwind, you can basically customize every part, including the camera section here, the back of the phone. If you don't have the image there, you'd see the back of the phone, the color for the back of the phone. Alright, you can change the frame, which is more like the edges, the phone edges, including the buttons here. Alright, so if I select, for example, the frame, which you'd see, I can change the color of the frame. I can also change the color of the camera to whatever I want. All right, so you have the option to customize the phone case to any color you want at all, including the camera section, the frame, the back of the phone, and everything. Right, as soon as everything is looking good, you can just click on this to download, and this is going to download it. All right, so if I try to open it, so that's the phone case you see right here. I can choose a different image from the vector and all that. Right, so let me show you, let me actually reset everything, and let me show you that this is responsive. Right, on mobile phone, so on mobile phone it is still responsive, right? So on mobile phone, this is how it looks like. You have the buttons here, the light and dark theme. You have the download button here being small, and then you have all the buttons here, right? So this is to select the product. You can select the product from here or from here. You can click on this to upload the image, or click on this to load the image. So I can click on this and it is going to add it just like how it was. I can resize this, basically place it anywhere. All right, I can add text if I want. I can also add a clip arts here. All right, so it's basically the same thing, just that you have the layouts different. Now notice that when I add the image, you also see the image controls up here. Alright, so this is when you click on it, then it's going to keep the changes. If you want to resize again, you click on this one. This one is for scaling. Alright, so when you want to scale it, you can use this, and then this is for rotating. You can also reset everything using the cancel, and you can flip. Alright, and then as soon as I click on keep changes, I can also get the effects. As the image effects here, I have a preview here that I can see. So because this is covering the image, you see the image, the actual image here, so you'd see how it looks like with the effect. So you can also see it small down here, but then this one gives you like a good view as to how the image is going to look like once you apply these settings or these filters to it. And it's going to look the same here basically. Let's reset everything. Let me clear this one as well. Let's go and then let's pick the image again, right? And let's try and maybe resize it. Alright, we would resize it. Another feature I've not mentioned is the fact that when you use a remote image, you'd also get this option here to download the original image, right? So once I keep the changes and I'm able to download, I have the option to check this checkbox to also download the original image, because this image is not from your system, it is a remote image. So maybe you just want to send to someone to print for you. You just want to attach you want to attach the original image so that they would basically see how it is placed on the phone and then be able to print it exactly like that for you. Alright, so you can download this, and you can see that it did not download just the image, it downloaded a zip file. Alright, so if we open the zip file, you can see that the zip file includes the original image and then the phone case. So let me actually extract it so that we can see. So when I extract, as you can see here, it contains the phone case and then the image. That is pretty much everything. Let's now jump into the code, and then I'm going to take you through the code. Alright, so in the code, as you can see here, I'm using Next.js. So you can see next config here. I'm also using Tailwind, so you can see the Tailwind config files here as well. I'm using TypeScript, and you can see my file structures. I basically have the app, which is the default folder you get with Next.js projects, and then I have components, which contains all my reusable components, and I also have the editor context. So I'm using a context API for simplicity. And I also have the hooks folder here, which contains 2 hooks. That is the use the bounce, and then this one is from ShadcnUI. And there is also the lib folder, which contains the font utils, Pixabay, and then other utils as well. So basically all the utility functions that we are using. And then we also have public, which contains images and clip arts. Right? So you can see that I have all the clip arts that I added. So they are basically SVG files, and here are some of the images that some of the phone case images that we have on the website as well. So public contains all the assets. I also have env.local containing my Pixabay API key. There's also the constant, which contains things like default colors, fonts, font sizes. They are default font sizes. If we are not able to load the system fonts, we're going to show these fonts, right? So you can see it's just a few of them, and then these are the default font sizes as well. And here I am also storing the different iPhone products together with their model and their default colors. So this is how I am saving the data for the phones, right? And these are all the iPhones I added all the way to iPhone 13. When you come to the Samsung product, you also see just a few Samsung, just one Samsung product here. And at the end of the day, all products is going to contain iPhone Samsung, so you can add other phone brands and phone models here. This one is very easy to modify and add more phone models and phone brands. The rest of the files here are just the default files we get when we create Next.js application. Now let's go to package.json. So inside my package.json, you can see that I am using ShadcnUI, which is built on top of Radix.UI. So we get all the components from Radix.UI. I'm using JS zip to download the zip file, React color for the color selection, and I'm using Framer Motion as well, as I said, for some of the fancy animations on the landing page. Alright, and I also have HTML to image. Alright, so I actually tried a couple of libraries to test the downloading of the image. I think this one is what I am using. Alright, so React to image. This is built on top of HTML to image. So this is more like the React implementation of this. So I'm not using this one, so I'm going to remove it. And for the themes, I'm using Next themes here, React color for the color. I'm not also using this. This is also one package that I tried to do the downloading of the image. This didn't work well for me. Apart from that, I also have React drop zone for the drag and drop. Right, and this is what I am using to do the image dragging and image resizing. Right, it's called React RnD. This feature that I am able to drag the image and then click on these handles to resize. This is all possible because of React RnD, right? So this is the package I'm using for that. So let's start from here. You can see that I have just two pages, the main landing page here with these sections, and then the editor. So you can see that I am grouping the files that are relating to the editor under the editor folder here. Things like the right section, the main canvas, the left section, the header, the editor page wrapper, and then the editor itself. And then I also have some reusable components across these sections, across these main sections here, and I'm putting inside components here. These are basically used in the editor, but then across different sections in the editor. That's why I have the component folder inside the editor. So here you can see that I have things like clip art tab, fill tab, product tab, text uploads. Yeah, so these are different tabs that I have. These tabs that we have up here, I've grouped them inside the tabs folder. So this is basically how I organize my files, just to keep things easy to find. When you go to the components, right, so this is where you have cameras, you have phone cases. These are the ShadcnUI components that you get when you install any component. Alright, so you have the cameras, you have the phone cases, you have add Google font components here. If I show you the utils, so the font utils, so we have the extract Google font function, and you can see that I've also added a bunch of comments just for things to be clear for you, so that when you get access to the code, you'd basically see what this is doing. We check for different things, right? Inside the extract Google font URL, we check for things like whether it is a link tag or whether you are pasting at import statement, or you are just pasting a direct URL, right? So you can just paste a direct URL as well. That's also going to work. And then here is where we extract the font family. We get the first font family if multiple families are specified. And this is the function to get the system fonts. We check that if the API is available in the browser. And the reason why we do that is that some browsers do not support this API yet. So this window.query local fonts. So I did a search and I saw that some browsers don't actually support this API yet. So if the browser you are using doesn't support this query local font API, then it's going to fall back to this fallback fonts. So as you can see here, so we use the query local fonts to get the fonts. We try to get the unique fonts, so we use a set here to make sure that all the fonts are unique in terms of their names. Last function here is a function to check if the font is available when you request for that font. And this one is for Pixabay. Alright, so you can see that I am loading the Pixabay API key here. These are all the properties we are extracting, even though we are not using all these properties. In case we need them in the future, we can things like likes, downloads, views, and stuff like that. Alright, so you can see we have the Pixabay API URL here as well. And then the type of image that we are getting from Pixabay is photo, vector, and then illustration. Alright. So when you come down here, we have the search Pixabay images. Alright, and then by default it is photo. We can pass the type whenever we want, whenever we call this function. Here, let's actually go here before. Alright, so here you can see that I have cameras here, and I have iPhones and then Samsung. If I go to iPhone, I have the camera flash, camera lens, we have the lidar scanner, and then we have different cameras here as well. Right, so the 3 cameras, the 2 cameras diagonal, the 2 cameras vertical. So these are the different iPhone cameras. When I open one of these, you can see these are just HTML. Right? So it's just a div with another div inside it, and that's the background color. And then the camera lens also looks like this. Same for this. If I show you how the camera, the actual camera looks like, you can see that we are using, wherever we need the camera lens, we use that component. Right, wherever we need the camera flash, we use that, and wherever we need the scanner, that small scanner, see that, we also use it. So we just arrange it the way we want to make it look like how it is arranged at the back of an iPhone. This is how the camera component looks like, and you can see that I'm passing some prop here which says camera color, which changes the background of the camera section. It's where we are using it. And yeah, so this is how all the other cameras look like. So if we have other camera, we are just going to use the camera lens, the camera flash, the scanner, and then we're going to arrange it the way we want, right? So for example, the 2 cameras diagonal, 2 cameras vertical, we just arrange them either vertical or diagonal, or if it is 3, however we want it. And you can see that they are all accepting the prop, the camera color, so that we would be able to change the color of where the camera is. Same for Samsung as well. Right, so we have the camera flash, the lens, 3 cameras vertical. That's what I have at the moment. If I have other phones with different cameras, I will just create another component with the camera style. And I'll just create another component with a camera style, and then I am going to use it on the phone case. Right, so this is the folder for the cameras. This is the folder for the phone cases itself. We have iPhone. This is the actual phone case. The left side buttons, the right side buttons, and you can see that we are using those here. And here it's where we are switching, where we are adding the cameras for all the phone models, right? So 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro, 14 Pro Max, all these phone models uses the 3 camera style, right? And then for the 2 cameras diagonal, all these iPhone models uses that style. And then for the 2 cameras vertical, iPhone 16 and then 16 Plus. Nice. And you can see I have children here. This is where I'm rendering the back of the phone, which is more like where you're going to place the image and all the text and stuff like that. And because we want to make sure we don't want to be creating different drag and drop for all the other phone cases, I'm passing it as children, so that we have one component which does that, which is this component here called phone case BG. All right, so you can see this is where we have the RnD setup, and we have things like clip art elements, text elements, and you can see these are all multiple elements, so we do a map. So depending on how many elements you add at the back of the phone case, or how many elements you click to add, and it's going to loop through them and then basically place them here. So this one, you just need to go through and then see how I am doing some of the positioning. I mean, these are basically properties that are coming from the docs, RnD docs. So it is easy to find when you go to the docs, and I just made sure that it fits however I want to place an image on the phone, or I want to place an image on the back of the phone. All right, there is one tip that I want to mention to you. You can see that when I resize the phone and I click on keep changes, it looks like it crops the image, and then we can only see the cropped parts. All right, but in actual sense, that is not what it is doing. It's not cropping an image, it is just hiding the overflow section from the phone case here, right? From this edge, from the frame here. So it is just hiding the overflow, making it hidden, right? So it makes it easier so that when I click on it again, I still have the original image and I can be able to resize it. Now, when I started working on this, I wrote like a very long logic to actually do an actual cropping. But then I realized that it is going to be much easier to even do it this way by just doing an overflow of hidden. So that when I want to resize the image again and I click on it, then the overflow is now going to be set to default. That is visible, and then I'll get the original image back, right? So something like this, there is no need to do a crop, an actual cropping. So I just had to scrap all that cropping code out of my code base, and it made my code even much simpler. All right, so here you can see that it looks like I am cropping, but I'm not actually cropping. I'm just hiding the overflow part. It looks exactly like the cropping. At the end of the day, we are just going to download only the visible part. So that part is not visible. It's not going to be downloaded. I also like the functionality this way instead of doing an actual crop, which is way complicated and way difficult to understand their logic. For example, if I am doing a scale or a rotate like this, you have to calculate you have to make sure you are calculating the position relative to the phone case, and then you'd be able to crop the part properly. But this way, by just hiding the overflow part, it just hides it and it keeps it exactly like how I rotate it, which is very cool. If we check where the code is for that, so here you can see here we have a style here, we have overflow. If it is in resize mode, it is going to be visible. If not, it is going to be hidden. As simple as that. No cropping. Yeah, apart from that, things like clip art elements, these are simple components. I'm just using the same RnD components to make sure they are draggable and droppable. Alright, so for example, the text element here. Alright, if I scroll down here, you can see it is just a div. Alright, and when you double click, we are setting the content editable to true based on whether you are editing or not. So you can just set a div to content editable true. These are handling the different events like handle touch and touch start. That is for phone, like when you are touching on phone, and this is for double clicking when you are clicking with a mouse. Here you can see that, as I mentioned, I'm using the editor context to keep track of all the properties that I am editing. Right, so original image, cropped image, is resize mode, image position, scale, rotation, flip. Right, so all these properties are being kept as a state inside the context so that we can edit them and use them anywhere we want to make things easier for us. And we also have the functions to update them. So when we come here, you can see that we have different states for each one of these. All right, you can see we have a bunch of states here. We have functions that actually does the updating as well. All right, reset, start resize, keep changes, add text. All right, update text position and all that. All right. I think what I want to show you is handle download here. So if it is remote image, we are going to download it as a zip, right? As a zip using JS zip. If not, then we are just going to download the image, right? So here we just create an element, an anchor element, and then for that we can do the download on it, right? As a PNG image. It's a simple download logic. So as I said, I'm using so use to PNG, which is coming from this react to image, Hugo CXL, react to image. We have other used to JPEG, used to SVG, used to PDF and other stuff, right? So I just used the used to PNG, and then when you call convert, that is going to convert the image. Right, so you can see that I'm passing the ID of the component we want to convert to image here. Right, so phone case container, which is coming from here, main canvas here. Right, so you can see this is the container. We render the different phone brands inside that container. Right, so phone brand is iPhone. Then we're going to show the iPhone case. If not, we're going to show the Samsung case, so we can add other phone brands here as well. But then they are all wrapped within this phone case container, which is this div, so that we can download them regardless. Whatever we put inside that component. Right, so that is inside the main canvas component here. And then whenever I call the convert to PNG, which I call here, that is download design, it is going to convert this to PNG, and then what this function is going to be triggered, and then it is going to get the data. Downloading it as zip, we'll convert it to base64 data, that is a binary data, and then we'll convert it to blob as well, right? Image blob and all that. At the end of the day, we are just going to be able to trigger a download by creating an anchor element and calling it download on it, right? So apart from that, the rest of the components here are just simple components, like the header, the hero, how it works, logo, things like resize controls. They are just div elements, right? They have team provider, team toggle. Yeah, that's basically it, right? You can have a look at the code. You can take your time and then go through the code. If you have an issue with any part of the code, you can actually leave a comment below and I'm going to attend to it. We did not get to the final results that easily. We had to go through a lot of issues that needs to be resolved, a lot of edge cases that needs to be covered, a lot of trials and errors, and a lot of putting things together to look good. Right, I went from what you can see on your screen all the way to this final results. Alright, so you can basically do it in as much as you take things one after the other, in as much as you take things slowly and one by one after the other. You break the things down into smaller issues that you tackle one after the other. You'd eventually get to the final results, and it's going to be massive. This is what we have. I don't think it's perfect yet because there are still a few things that are still missing. So it's not perfect, but I think we have an MVP which is working fine. You're able to customize and download the phone case, which is basically the end goal. So yeah, the rest are going to be improvements, the rest are going to be enhancements. So if you're testing it, if you run it locally and you test it and you realize any issue, you come across anything, you can alert me and I'm going to fix it and update the code so that you would be able to get the updated results as well, right? Apart from that, you can also decide to fix it yourself if you want. That's totally fine as well. Feel free to use the code, feel free to enhance it, feel free to add more features to it, feel free to use it for whatever you want to use it for. Yeah, that is basically up to you. Thank you for watching. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. I have a lot of projects that are coming up that I'm going to be showing you. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave the notifications on. So thank you, and I am going to see you in the next video.